So anyway, as we've been saying for weeks now, and now the day has come when we're going to roll out our capital campaign, Priorities 7118. 7118 stands for the date in which our lease expires, July 1st, 2018. 17 months from now, our lease expires. And by that time, we intend to be well on our way, God willing, to purchase this building. So what we've done is we have invited John to roll out today our projected plans for raising funds to be able to purchase this building. John will give you some of the specifics, and as specifics come in, we'll let you guys know. This plan is unfolding in front of us, the leadership, and we'll unfold it in front of you as it comes in. So at this time, without any further ado, I just want to invite John to come up and to roll out our Priorities capital campaign. Come on down, John. Hey, all right. Now he was telling me before service that he just found out that both of his great-grandfathers, you don't make it too close, right? Both of his great-grandfathers were preachers. So, and he's been following me for 10 years. So he's hoping to be short, but there's no guarantees here. So if you have to stay awake sometime today, stay awake for these next 20 or so minutes and give John your full attention so you can understand the direction that we're heading as a church.
Okay, the day has finally arrived. And what we're going to do is we're going to go through and talk about the current situation, the opportunity that we have before us. What's the price? What's it worth? Can we afford it? How much do we need? And what we're asking of you. Okay, we're just going to roll through this. And so let's go to the current situation. Okay, as of December 31st, the church had about $51,600 in cash, of which $48,700 is for the operating fund, and about $2,900 is in the missions account. Okay, so you've heard our song, Doing Impossible Things. Okay, in November, the Lutheran Synod came to us and said that we'd like to sell you the church. And so here we are. We got $50,000 in cash, and we're looking at 17 months, and it is one of those impossible things. So what we have decided is that we're not going to use that operating cash for the building. The operating cash is to be used for our ministries. Okay, that's for growing the children's programs, doing whatever else we need. You know, there's going to be some repairs to this building, and before we even get to the purchase time, there's going to be repairs that we're going to have to make. So we have decided as a leadership group that we're not going to use that money. And so that's why we're here today to talk about what we're going to need. Now, the current situation, as Joe said, is we signed a 3-year lease, July 1st, 2015 to June 30th, July 1st of 2018. Okay, so we're 17 months away on that lease expiring. And in the lease, it included a right of first refusal. And I was told yesterday by Michael that a right of first refusal is, the way I've defined it, is not actually right, but they did come to us in November and told us that they wanted to sell the church to us. Okay, next slide, Lance. The sales price is going to be based upon an appraisal less the costs that we have put into the building. And right now we've estimated about $50,000 of actual cost, for paint, the restrooms, the gutters, everything that we've done on the church. Okay, this doesn't include labor. Okay, this is just the things that we have paid for out of pocket. And we'll get to the labor here in a second. But $50,000 is a conservative estimate. Okay, the opportunity. Having been on the leadership team since the beginning and seeing how things have transpired over the last 5 years, we believe that God has brought us to this building for His purpose. Okay, not our purpose, but His purpose. Okay, I mean, we've been into some situations. We met at Saxby's down there on Feedwire Road, and eventually we found this church. We met here on Sunday nights for about a year, a little longer than a year, and then eventually the church became available to us so that we could meet here on Sunday mornings, as we're doing today. Okay? The next thing is this property, the location. As they say in real estate, location, location, location. Well, that is certainly true of this church. I mean, we couldn't ask for a better location, unless it was that property over on 675 there. But we're not going to talk about that. Okay, it's convenient, it's attractive, thanks to Gary. Gary's done a lot of work on the landscaping, and he has made this thing visually attractive. And this church is an asset to the community. Joe mentioned the FRC. I'm a part of the FRC because of Joe, and it.
Don't blame it on me, John. It's my fault.
It is your fault. Yeah. But I can tell you that Centerbrook is one of the more active churches in the community, and we're supporting that program, among other things. So that's why we need to be here. And then finally, this church meets our needs. We have plenty of room for expansion. I mean, right now, we've got plenty of room. But if we had 30 to 40 people, we'll need to do some things, possibly expand the children's building down here, or whatever God leads us to do. Okay. All right. Next slide. Okay. So here's the hard part. How much is the property? We don't know what the synod is going to ask for it. Okay. When we did the lease, we thought we were being pretty smart, putting in the right of first refusal and all that, and then the appraisal. But they have come to us informally and said, yes, we'd like to sell it to you, but when it comes time to do all these things, we'll get an appraisal done and tell you how much it is. Well, so here I am standing in front of you 17 months later, or before that, trying to tell you how much money we need. Okay? So, anyway, this past week, we approached the synod about having a meeting to kind of get an idea of what they're thinking in terms of price. And coincidentally enough, this is how God works, okay? They said, we were thinking the same thing. We would like to meet with you all and talk about the transaction. So right now, hopefully within the next 2 weeks, we are going to have a meeting with the synod and get a better idea of what they're looking for in terms of price. But in the meantime, so the question is, so John, how do we know how much to raise if we don't know what the price is? Well, that's a great question. Okay, so we're going to work off the value. We're going to work off the value of the church. Greg Lockhart, sitting right here, okay, recommended to us an appraiser named Michael Moorhead. And this guy was great. This guy is great. And thank you for introducing him to us. I mean, what a nice man. And he did a lot of work for us that has given us a better idea of exactly what this thing is worth. Okay? So we met on Friday the 27th, and we met again on the 31st. And Michael is a certified appraiser, and he's got 40 years of experience, and he's appraised over 20 churches. Next slide. So what he did is he went out and he looked at all of the church sales in the area, basically in Southwest Ohio, and looked at all the church sales that have taken place, and there's been a lot of them. Okay. And based upon that study, he thinks that it's worth between $30 to $37 a square foot, and we have 9,057 square feet. So if you use the range, it ranges from $272,000 to $335,000. Okay, so that's what we believe the church is worth. Okay, now the county's got it appraised at something like $474,000. Okay, but what the county has it appraised at and what is reality in terms of pricing are two different things. Okay, so the question becomes then, well, can we afford $335,000? Okay, so the way the lease is written, we start with the market. We're going to start with a market value of $335,000. We're going to take $50,000 off for the documented receipts that we have. That gets us to $285,000. And then with a 20% down payment of $57,000, we'd have a mortgage of $228,000. Using a 15-year 5% rate, our payment would be close to $1,800 a month. And that would represent basically 20% of our current average of our tithe revenue. And that's right in the ballpark of where it needs to be. Okay, we'd like it to be lower. Now, I guess the thing I haven't said is, all along we have been saying that we are praying that the Lutheran Synod would give us this church. Okay, so if we get a zero price, then hey, we're looking real good. What? We'll have a pizza party. The church will pay. Yeah, we'll have a pizza party. Okay. And then I talked with a gentleman at Michael recommended another guy. This is how it works. Greg recommends Michael. Michael recommends a banker. So I'm talking to a gentleman by the name of Bob DeLong at River Valley Credit Union. I've heard he's a Nazarene, so we'll look over that for now. But so anyway, based upon this loan value, it would be 68%. And I'm pretty sure that they would be willing to do that. Okay, next slide. Okay, so we're going to roll out this capital campaign. We're going to ask you to make a pledge. And if we raise enough funds to pay cash for the church, then that's what we'll do. Okay? Alternatively, we may use some of those funds to make some improvements. Like, we'd like to have a center aisle in this church so that we could have weddings, okay? As I mentioned, there's other repairs and things that we'd like to do. The kitchen needs updated. So that's if we get a lot of money, okay? And a small mortgage, okay? At a minimum, because we've said we're going to use the money that we have now in our operating account for ministry, we're going to need to raise that down payment. And flip the slide. Okay, so here's the range. $285,000 to pay cash for the church and $57,000 for the down payment. Okay, now, that's over 17 months as we know it today. When we have this meeting with the Synod, we don't know what's going to happen. They may come to us and say, well, we'll sell it to you for $100,000, but you got to close in 6 months or 3 months or whatever, okay? Once we know those details, we'll do exactly what we're doing today. We'll come back and we'll tell you what the details are. okay? Because the most important thing I can say here is that we want to be transparent with you and tell you exactly what's going on. I mean, I've never heard of a church that's told you how much cash they get in the bank. I mean, I've never. Okay, so what we're asking of you, first of all, prayer is the most important thing that you can do, regardless of how much you're able to commit to in a pledge. Okay, your prayers are more important than that. Okay, so we want them to give it to us. Because they do want this church building to continue as a church. They don't want to sell it and put modular homes like what you see across the street over here. They want this to be a church, and that's what we intend to do. And we're going to tell them that if you want to put in a purchase agreement that we have to make it a church and we can't sell it 10 years from now to a developer, we'll readily agree to that. Okay, our intentions is for this Centerbrook church to be here for the next 100 years or whatever. Okay. Okay, so today you found in your bulletins, you found a pledge card. And so what we're asking you to do, go ahead and flip. Okay, fill out the pledge card with an amount that you're willing to commit. And then we're going to have, as Joe said, the second offering here shortly, where we're going to ask you to commit to a seed donation. And finally, just put the card up there, I think. Yeah, okay. The card, it says it all right there. Okay. But from the very beginning of this church, when we were meeting at Lance and Debbie's house, okay, to talk about what are we going to do, how we're going to do this, okay, the purpose of this church is to let the people of Bellbrook and Centerville, to bring them to Jesus, to make them aware of Jesus, okay, and the fact that we've only been here offering morning services for not even 2 years yet, and you can see we've got a pretty good sized attendance today. I think we're doing a good job, and we just ask for you to consider in prayer and what you can commit to today. So, does anybody have any questions? Yes, Judy.
The land, how do they do about their property, the land itself? Is all that included?
I can't hear you.
The land itself, is that all included?
Yeah, the land is included in the 335. Yeah, we have almost 5 acres. I think it's like 4.5, right? Yeah, 4.5 acres. Yeah, so that's why I say, the opportunity here. We've got opportunity to expand if we need to. If we wanted to put a gymnasium or something out there, we could do that. And that's why it's so important. So we just ask you to prayerfully consider this and ask for your commitment. Thank you.
Thanks, John. So are there any other questions before we move on? John has worked long and hard to get this done. We even went over the commitment card about a bazillion times because they can be so confusing. I've never seen one that's not. We want to make it as easy as we can for people to be able to give and to know how much and why they're giving. These cards essentially just help us track, like you're not signing anything in blood. They're just helping us know what the commitments are so we know how to plan for the future. At the end of service, we will take up these cards. We've already done the one offering. John's laid it out about what we think potentially that they could ask us. We are diligently praying that they ask us way less, and even more so that they give it to us, so that the ministry from this place is not impeded. John had mentioned our general fund or our operating expenses. We want to guard that to ensure that ministry goes forward unhindered, just as it has been so far. We're not blurring the lines here. That money was given to the work of the ministry, not necessarily to the building itself. So we want to keep that separate as much as we can. We never want to bleed over those lines. And we know that once we take sole ownership of the building, God willing, that any major repair that the Evangelical Lutheran Synod may incur the brunt of, or take the bigger portion of, we'll have all on our own. We won't be able to fall back on them. If something big would happen, we have to have that in an operating fund to make sure that ministry goes on and that we can take care of the necessary repairs. The roof, a year and a half ago, they replaced the roof. Some damage was done inside because the roof had gone for a long time without being replaced by the former church. That's just how it all played out. Well, the Synod took responsibility for that, and they paid for a huge portion of the roof to be replaced. They let us, we got the bids, 5 or 6 bids. They let us choose, but they said we'll pay as much as the lowest bid. We chose, because we felt better with another company, to go with the next highest bid, and we feel like we got a good job, but we paid the difference. When they're gone and we own the mortgage, it's all on us for something like that to happen. So we don't want to jeopardize the future of our church. So we're asking you to participate in giving towards the building as something separate from your regular giving. And we understand that that is a stretch for everybody, but that's part of the Christian life. We're in this together. We give our lives for one another, and the finances that we have, that's just a portion of that. And we would be remiss as a leadership team, and I would be remiss as a pastor, if we didn't give you the opportunity. And I know that we don't look at it this way in general. We would be in the wrong. We would be irresponsible if we didn't give you the opportunity to give to help this ministry at this location go forward, so that you can reap a harvest of spiritual benefit and maybe even financial benefit. By your giving, that frees God up to give back to you. We don't want to hinder that in any way. So you can look at this as, oh great, something else that we have to commit to, or you can look at this as an opportunity for God to bless you in the process. And that's what we want for everybody in our church, to spiritually grow. And finances, that's just a part of it. We can all grow and be stretched a little bit as far as that goes. So before John sits down, before I just do a little sermonette here leading up to, it's actually just an elongated offertory time. Are there any other questions? Any questions?
I want to say two things. When you commit on the pledge card, okay, this is what you think you can do. It's between you and God, okay? We're not going to come after you and say, Dave, you're a little behind there, bud. Can you step it up? We're not going to do that, okay? We're not going to do that. And then the second thing is, I just lost my train of thought. What happens when you get old? Oh, I know what it was. We have several visitors today, and I just want you to, it's awkward, I know, for you to come into a situation where we're asking for a pledge of money, but also at the same time, this is that you can see how we operate, and we'd ask that you consider us being your church as you go forward. And we thank you for coming today and being here.
Thank you, John. Well put, well put. We'll take your money, too. That gives you buy-in. We've talked about that ownership and being part of something bigger than yourself. So we'll talk more in just a few minutes about the card and what we're asking today. It is a seed offering. It's not necessarily your overall commitment of what we're asking, but it's something to kick off our time of giving here towards this building.